could very well be the event is going to be officially announced Wednesday, and then it'll actually come out like Friday or something.
I should let you know that I rolled right into recording while you were talking because that's the kind of discussion that we need to be having on the roundtable chat. And so
I'm fine with that.
we're officially opening the roundtable chat with the material that you just raised. And so there will be a little video of each person's name with a little green circle next to it when you're talking. But I think it would be cool if we could just go around the circle one time and each person who's here say who they are and an introduction. And the person who's talking now is Beefed Martine. I was the person who found this magic feather that we decided to pass around the round table so each person could have a discussion. And during your turn to hold the feather, you could strike a match and watch it gleam. You could ask a question to the room. You could answer a question that's been asked, or you could just comment on any of the discussion that we've had up to that point. The idea is when each person has that turn to speak, we're all going to listen. And actually, Boba's Alliance may be listening to some of this conversation. So say anything that you want to say to the world and your commentary on the state of the game, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, of Boba's Alliance, or whatever your personal heart song is to the universe. You could say that too. But anyway, I propose the first time we pass the feather around, we simply introduce one another. And the person seated next to me at the round table tonight is Frank Plays. Frank Plays, you want to come unmute yourself and give your introduction. You'll speak every time after me, Beefed, because you're next to me in the circle. Actually, the way it is on the screen, it looks like Draven is next. Draven, I'll pass it to you.
Hello.
Why don't you be
Hello, guys
number
and
2?
girls. Welcome. Am I coming through?
Yes, you're loud and
All
clear.
right, good. Well, hello, guys and girls. Welcome to the round table chat. And today we're going to talk about a lot of interesting things. I have been playing this game for a very long time, a long time collector, and the next person should be Frank, right?
Yeah, it should be. That's how the order is on my screen. And since I'm making the video of what's happening, Frank Plays, number 3. Are you there? Caller 3. We're going to point out this is a little bit informal, and so things may happen. And anybody who's hearing this right now is welcome to jump in and be a part of the discussion as well. At the moment, since Frank is muted, then it goes to Kadar.
Alrighty, in the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, hello there. I'm Kadar the Poet, Chief Information Officer of Love and Alderaan Places. I've been playing since 2017. I just want the Galactic Legend kids to come out, and we haven't had this yet. And now I'll pass the feather on to JD Suzuki.
JD said he's trying to figure out his mic. Are you there?
Suzuki also said he's just here to listen, so I guess that'll go back to Draven, I think.
Yeah, I was going to switch the order because of the way it is on the screen. But you pass it to Draven, so take it.
All right, guys, I guess we'll go to the first subject. What do you think about the new coming version of mods coming out?
Did
y'all get the question?
Yeah, I heard it. Do you want to answer first or pass it to...
Pass on the next person.
Okay, I think I'm the next person, Beef Martine. I think that the new version of mods coming out is a great example of what Naughty Karate said in the previous thing about resource management, how what's going to really pay off is just having a ton of slicing material available after the switch. That's my opinion on it. I think anything new to do with mod management is good because it's been overly stagnant, and I was disheartened to read that the developer's view was originally that your mods would be one and done, like you'd put them on a character and just leave them there, and they didn't expect that the game changers were going to come up with the idea of equipping different mods, and they tried to play into it by mod sets, etc. But I'm excited for the next evolution because it's been too stagnant lately. With that, I would pass to Frank Plays, if you want to unmute, or to Kadar. What do you think?
I'm going to assume Frank is muted, so I'll take it. I was really worried when I initially saw the announcement. Like, I see the announcement, new mod stuff coming. I'm just like, oh no, the Speedman is about to catch fire again. And then you read into it, and it's like, the secondary stats can't get more than 5 boosts per stat. So if the speed secondary has increased 5 times already, it's not going to get to increase 5 more times, which is honestly the best thing they could have done in that regard, because it keeps people from getting like plus 60 speed mods, which would just be the most ridiculous thing ever. The one thing I'm most cautious about is because I've been getting mixed opinions on whether or not it'll be impacting ships much, because I know going from 5 to 6 is a big deal with your ship speed and all that, and it makes a huge difference at the top of Fleet Arena especially. But I don't know if going from 6E to 6A is going to have any sort of impact other than a small GP bump, which I'm not sure if that'll really do anything.
That's a very good point.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yep, now I can hear you.
And that's perfect timing. I can pass the feather on to you, JD.
Sorry, what were we talking about? I wasn't in.
Mods. So our thoughts on the new 6A mods coming to Galaxy of Heroes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because it'll be much easier to get the top tier mods, like higher speed mods, with the 5 upgrades now. So I think a lot more people are going to be able to get like those, 26, 27 speed mods. Whereas before, you basically have to get really lucky on one particular mod, and then, yeah.
Yeah, that's an excellent point too. The format of the round table is that after each time JD Suzuki speaks, then you would pass the feather to the next person on the table, and the person next to you on the table is Draven. So whenever you finish speaking, you would pass it to Draven.
Yeah, and you can just call me JD. And,
what's that?
I'll pass it. You
JD.
can just call me JD.
Aye.
So yeah, I'll pass it to Draven now.
Well, I think it will affect ships, but the thing that they've said so far, that you can be able to, of course, get into packs, which is not a shocker for any of us who play the game a lot. The other thing is how you can farm it is only in a certain area of the game. And do you think they're going to make that part of the game tweak it even more? What's your opinion on that part of the game?
And then the feather goes to beefed, I guess. But
yes,
I think they'll keep that farming restrictive, and it'll still be like the bottleneck that it is. And alas, I feel like the game really needs a new tier on the challenges, the daily challenges that you just sim with one button, like all 3 or however many challenges there are. You just click it once. So I think that we need a new level of that with higher gear and with some of the new stuff on them. But that's my own personal opinion. Then since I had the feather, I wanted to introduce a question to the room, or a topic, which is, I'd be curious to know, what do you think is the best squad to use with Mon Mothma? And I'm going to forward an answer to it first, because I went for Zeta on POW, one who gets 5% turn meter every time somebody uses their basic attack. And I think that the best is going to be Hoth Rebel Scout, because of the turn meter gain for the team. POW with the Zeta, because he can do that Scala thing continuously, and his other attacks then are super powerful. Okay, Mon Mothma, she's the leader. Chirrut is my 4th, because Chirrut has this special move, his third special that does more damage the more buffs are on your team. And also his healing and his, purify, his cleansing is really good. His damage overall is really good, but his special that uses every green dot on all of your team to make more damage is amazing. And then for the fifth, my surprise is not a rebel fighter, it's C-3PO, because all of those assists now can do expose, and so it just tears the other team apart. You guys have no idea how good that is with C-3PO. But now I will pass the feather. The next person after me, Frank sent a message. He said he's here to listen, and so stop trying to hand him the feather. Is Kadar, or is it Draven? Oh, it's Draven.
Well, I agree with the team that you suggested, but if you have to stack with all rebels, like if you're doing an event, I think I would put actually a wild card in it, Lando.
Tell me more.
Because I know that his area effect is not as good as it used to be. Back in the day, if all old players remember when we used to have to use these weak old rebels. And I believe with the boost that my mom gets him, I think he will be able to hit a lot harder, especially if he has those new mods on him.
Okay.
The next person is
Kadar.
JD. Okay, Kadar, your turn.
Well, obviously, Hot Rebel Scout, PAL, Terminator Engine, those are the required two in that team. If there's any Mon Mothma team that doesn't have those two, you're not using them to their full potential. I was actually on Reddit earlier today, and I found a theory crafting post from a while ago talking about different Mon Mothma teams, actually. So I'm thrilled to get to talk about it. I think there's a couple good few combinations. Pair Biggs with Wedge because they cooperate great together. Sherwin and Baze, they're another good combination. I haven't used my Mothma myself. She's like third or fourth priority on my list after the new Legends and such. But I would probably go for a more defense-oriented team just so they could be as much of a headache as I can get them to be in Grand Arena, because that'd be my primary goal gearing them, because I want them to be a good defense-oriented team for Grand Arena, because that's where you would get the most span out of your book, outside of Lightside Geonosis territory battle.
Kadar passes to JD. So let's see. JD is next, if you want to take on this question. We have a fifth caller who's just entered.
He just dropped.
Okay, we have a fifth caller who just entered as well, which is Dylar. Dylar is here, and Naughty Karate is on as number 6. So Dylar...
No,
Wait.
I'm just listening from work. I'm still at work. I'm just going to be listening in,
Okay.
guys.
JD is listening. Dylar is listening. They said don't call on them right now. They're just listening. How about Naughty Karate?
Yeah, man, what's up?
Hey, we were just asking.
I heard it's about Mon Mothma.
Yeah, what do you think is the best thing with Mon Mothma? I contend introducing C-3PO makes it so much better.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds to me like an over-investment in the team. Okay, so I will caveat this. If, and only if, get your opponent in GAC to burn their Treya, then Mon Mothma is a worthy defensible team. But really, the juiciest one is with Pow and Cara Dune, along with, what are the other two? It's not the...
Rebel Scout?
Yeah, Scout, and it's the more unattainable ones that's actually the more valuable defensible team, as it should be for good reason, because who the hell has those geared up, you know? But yeah, there's a formidable defense team. If you have the old Biggs and, or not Biggs, but the Chase duo on there with whatever, I put Cassian and can't remember the other guy. The other one that's gear 12. That's the team you have. Really, anyone who's looking at building a Mon Mothma team, the one that you have that is the highest geared, that's the one to use.
You're right.
If you want to build another one, yes, there are stronger variants, but with all of the things that we have to build toward with all the Galactic Legends, I don't think Pow is going to be seeing any love. Yeah, Pow is not going to see any love. And Rebel Scout, no. I stopped them at gear, I think, 7 or 8. Back in the day when a Carbonti was hard to come by, they're still hard to come by. Sorry, Scout. No dice, buddy. But anyway, the Mon Mothma team is very good if and only if because Treya will destroy it. You can 2-man Treya destroy the Mon Mothma team. So if you motivate your opponents to spend it on, Geos or something else like that, Night Sisters maybe, and you have them in the back, it can throw a monkey wrench in their plans. It's a decent team. Did I answer the question?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't have much experience with it.
No, you did answer the question, and because you're holding the feather, the magic feather, you may also choose to ask a question to the room if you wish, or answer any other question, or just toss out your heart song to the universe. We are recording right now, but
okay. Oh man.
Each time
That's
after you finish with the feather, then you pass it to the person next to you at the table, which in this case is me, Beef.
Okay. Can I get a rundown on the previous questions? I kind of didn't come in prepared. I don't really have a question.
Oh, that's okay. I don't remember exactly what we asked before, but
first question was about mods.
Oh yeah, 6E mods.
Okay.
6A mods. We've got 6E.
Not excited. Probably going to ignore them. Yeah. They will not add any power to your pilots, by the way.
They will not?
It's basically... No, they will not. No.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So that's a revelation that I understood. And then the way they will work that is distinct from the way when you currently max a mod, where all the stats get a base 1, or like whatever the thing is they have, like speed will get 1, defense gets 5 or whatever. Whatever the thing is, all of them will increase. For this new mod set, you can only pick mods where, if you've rolled speed 5 times on it, that's the most speed it will ever get. And so the next time you roll it for this new tier, one of the secondary stats has a chance to proc again. So essentially it's a dice roll, and it's very, if you've already maxed out a speed mod, don't pick that one. But if it procced 4 times, pick that maybe for a try. But the randomness involved is unexciting, I would say, as far as mods go.
I'd like to comment on that for a second, if I could.
Please, go ahead.
He does make a good point, because so right now the highest mods go is 6E. This update is going to get us from 6E to 6A, but we don't get the overall increases unless we were increasing the number, not the letter. So we can go from 6E to 6A and increase some of those secondary stats, but the primary stats would only ever increase if we eventually got 7 tier mods, or 7 dot mods, as it were. So once they get 7 dot mods, then it's going to be it's going to be a lot of head shaking, lots of nail biting, and probably lots of wailing.
Would they increase the primary stat of the mod? Because right now what they're reaching is a ceiling on, how much protection or defense can you stack on one tune. Oh, if we increase that by 5% per mod, oh my god, it's going to break some things.
Well, I mean, how much would it really break? Because the most recent challenges and stuff that we've had, with tier 3, all that stuff, they all have so much turn meter generation, and they're all so fast. Even if 7 dot mods only gave us a little bit speed increase, maybe say 5 at most, because when you're jumping from 5 to 6, speed only gets so much of a jump if it's a primary slot. It goes from 30 to 32 on an arrow, for example. So going from 6 to 7 won't be the craziest thing. It'll be expensive to do, but it won't be the craziest thing I think of in terms of something like stat increase for speed. But it will be something, and I think eventually we're going to be going in that direction, just on the basis of all the PvE content they add. Everything just comes with preloaded turn meter now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And
Then again, also,
preloaded-
who's excited to gather the mods to level up Speed Arrow, proc an extra 0.5% on offense? You know what I mean? Like, it's a very underwhelming mod update, I have to say.
Yeah, but in Arena, it's going to make it could make an extreme difference, especially when it comes to Galactic Legends.
It really depends on their implementation or how you can exploit them, but I think mods are underutilized in the game, that a lot of people just trust the game engine and don't really think about what mods would actually work the best. It does look like JD is back. Maybe JD wants to fire off a question or comment. Test your mic. JD, are you with us now?
Hello?
Hey. Yes.
Working?
Yes. You're on.
So we're back on mods?
What was the previous
I
question?
guess that's where we left off.
Actually,
I didn't ask a question. I was answering the previous one.
That's true.
we went off on a tangent about mods again.
Let's just pass the feather to JD and let him say
JD,
whatever he wants.
Go for it.
Yeah. You're in charge.
One more
Ask us a question.
Don't really have a question.
Well, then tell us an answer.
How about them mods?
That's good. Your mic is working, so we'll put you right back into the rotation. We're at 25 minutes ish, so we're gonna say that this is a halfway point, and I'll just read off the caller names. We got 1 Beef, 2 Draven, 3 Kadar, 4 JD, 5 Naughty Karate. The person who's speaking right now is your humble host, Beef Martine, and I just wanted to say this is the Boba's Alliance Roundtable Chat. It's a weekly thing, and it's meant to be a casual time when anybody can talk and put forth their opinions on the game, statements or questions, answers to somebody else's question, or to propose your own. But when you have the feather in your hand, really reality is your oyster, and you could take us all on a magic carpet ride if you want.
Doesn't cover the intro.
Looks like Teamwork 999. You're giving us a feedback loop. That's exciting. Just mute yourself for a second and we'll introduce you. Then you can unmute. Your number 6 is T Merc 999. Okay, and Beef Martine is speaking, and I think the video is going to light up a little green circle next to your name, so maybe this will be easier to follow. We should be back to our regular presentation that Dylar created that has a little bit more interesting graphics and whatnot with this. But he was on the road this week, so thank you for creating that, and we'll try to upgrade the tech level for anybody who's streaming the image of this. Sorry. It's pretty static. Okay, the question that, or I don't know if it's a question or not, but I got the feather, so I do want to ask a question, and the question was, what did you fail to defeat in the Grand Arena Championships? And I want to answer the question and tell you, sadly, it was the Murder Bears, and they were in the back row, and they were hidden behind a good First Order and a strong Geonosian in the front, and somebody that I just fought had all Relic 7 Ewoks with Log Ray, and I lost. On my first battle with him, I killed Ewok Elder, and I thought, okay, I'm fine now. I can ride beyond this wave. But the Relic 7 fully Zeta Ewoks, they carried the day for my enemy, and they held the rest of Grand Arena Championship. And I sent 5 or 6 really good squads in to die one by one. But because the turn meter was loaded, Relic 7 Ewoks, it's much worse than you might think. So next,
Hey,
I'll
Beef,
pass.
what is your GP? Like, who has Relic 7 Ewoks at your level? Is that like a self-indulgence project on this guy's part?
It must be. I'm at 5 million GP.
Oh my god, no one... Yeah, I'm at 6.5 and I never see Relic 7 Ewok.
No, it's unheard of. And it beat me, so it was good play. But the feather passes then from me to Draven.
Well, I can't hit a Dark Reverend team, but I was able to go to the top and beat him, but I couldn't get past his Dark Reverend team.
Mm-hmm. Was it the standard squad composition?
I don't remember. It was like the first battle of GAC.
Yeah.
So we're already through 3 rounds. I don't remember the exact team, but I remember it was a Dark Revan team that I tried to go against, and I failed, and I went around them and still won by points.
What was your counter?
I think I went with Padme against it, and
That's dicey.
it literally became 1-on-1. It was like literally, I had 1 tune left, he had 1 tune left, and he critted me, and he won.
Okay, how about the same question to Kadar?
I didn't actually have any problems being 8 teams, but speaking of Ewoks, so I'm in Division 3, and I'm still one of those people who put my G11, G12 Ewoks on the front line, because it always happens at least once a GA. I was going up against I was going up against one of my arena sharpmates actually, and he got overconfident, threw a underdog team in to try to get some extra points. Ended up throwing 3 battles against my Ewoks before they died.
Mm-hmm. They're great. If Ewok Elder is there, they can come back.
Exactly. Like, my thought is to maybe just relic up the Ewok Elder, so they're so obsessed with trying to get him down while he's healing, the rest of the team's just going to kill them.
Okay,
but I absolutely adore the Murder Bears.
Yeah, I love them too. What about JD? Do you want to comment on this? What was the thing you saw in GAC that you were unable to defeat?
Well, I haven't failed an attack.
Say that again.
I haven't failed an attack.
Not failed an attack. Okay. What was the hardest thing you saw?
I had a Grievous squad that I brought my gas a couple days ago, and almost failed that. It was down to gassing.
Oh.
That was probably the toughest or least I've had.
Ah, good answer. General Grievous. I've noticed some of those squads are really high on the charts. That's a pretty accessible team for people to farm that's very good on defense. Okay, same question passes. Oh, you say something more if you wish.
Yeah, well, I brought my gas against it, and I thought it was just, I don't know, Grievous just took them all down. Except for gas. But, yeah.
Ha! So you won in the end, but not many banners. What about Naughty Karate?
49.
Yeah.
So what now? What's the question?
What was the worst thing you fought against in Grand Arena?
Oh, well, it's all a shite show above 6, I have to tell you. So, it's basically the same old thing most of the time. It's who goes more defensively. However, I made a mistake, and as I was used to before there was 2 ships put on defense the first time around, I put my Falcon underneath my Grievous team, which is kind of one thing to do. You can make it slightly more tricky for someone. It rarely makes them fail unless they forgot that Ebon Hawk exists. But, yeah, I had to mirror an Akbar team with no Falcon, and that was a losing battle. Let me tell you what. So that was the hardest thing I faced, but that was all my fault because I just didn't think ahead. Like, oh yeah, I need 2 offense plates. Whoops.
Good one. What about T-Merc? Do you want to shoot an answer out? T-Merc 999, you're up next. Wait. I don't think he's in the channel anymore.
No, he
left. He's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. But Beefed, I can give you the legit hardest thing to face is a Galactic Legend team when you don't have a Galactic Legend team. That's the legit hardest thing to face. So work on those counters, folks. Get your Vader up to snuff.
You got your Thrawn.
Yeah. What else do we really need for that? I mean, just because.
Shore Trooper, unfortunately.
What?
Yeah. There's a variant with both Vader lead and Thrawn lead. That's Thrawn, Vader. It's very expensive, though, because it also requires Traya in some iterations.
Ugh.
And maybe not. So it splits up your triumvirate, but it really can beat both GLs. It's just, it has to be modded right. Yeah.
I
What happens
almost
if you're up
think.
against the
I
high
mean, we're all
tenacity
building
one?
it. It's just painful, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that was Naughty Karate. The feather passes to Beef Martine. I think that the GLs are a problem, and I think that I do need to increase gear on all those characters you just mentioned, especially Thrawn, and it's only G12, but some of the other ones, because I need to be able to in some way counter those GL for sure. I mean, that's what we said last week. Anybody who doesn't have the Galactic Legends is now planning how to counter the Galactic Legends. Hi!
Yeah.
Is that Tibius I see has entered the channel? Who knows? Yes. Okay, good. You're caller 6. And Feather passes next to Draven. Did you ask a
Hello?
question? Do you want to ask one?
Sorry. All right. Since we already talked about mods, we also talked about Galactic Legends. What do you think will be the next new content that they're going to add to the game? This is we're throwing it way out there. What do you wish would become next?
And do you want to answer it first or pass it on to Kadar?
Wait, what do we wish or what do we think will happen?
Either or.
Okay.
Well, if wishes were horses, we'd all take a ride.
Yeah. I want a Pegasus to take me down from the sky so I can play this game from the stars.
Exactly, man.
What if we pass the feather to Kadar? What's your answer to this question?
Well, what I wish, mostly just quality of life stuff. Like increased mod capacity, better weekly gear challenges and stuff. Like give us another tier there. As for what I think, well, the Google Play Store just updated today. We've got Mando images on the cover, so we might be getting some Mando Season 2 content soon.
That's a good thought. JD, do you want to take this question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I second that on the quality of life stuff. I hope they more of that. I hope they either add some stuff to the Galactic Challenges or make it a little more exciting. Because right now it's not really that exciting. It's just like bring in your best squad and take them down. Yeah, I hope they do a little more with the Galactic Challenge.
Very good. Not Naughty Karate.
Well, what I would like to see is Fulcrum Ahsoka be awesome in the game. Because as, self-indulgent project, I have her at R5. She's modded very well. And she's basically useless in every capacity. Only as a cleanup team is she good on. I can assure you of that at the top tier. So what I would like to see in the next season of Mando, that they either rework her and make her look like Rosario Dawson at the same time. That would be a double win for me. Or give us a new Ahsoka that, only the baby version, the teen version of her works under Padme very well. What I really think will happen is they're just going to give us a bunch of tunes to farm, and it'll be GLs until the syndication of the game meets its match in the end, where people don't want to invest anymore. I don't really think much new content is actually coming other than recalibrated higher tiered challenges. That seems to be their trend. But I'm hopeful. Be cool to see a new raid. And not a highly over-calibrated TV next or something. I mean, we can barely touch the one that we have now, the light side one. it's kind of it's just like a sad week for everyone. It's like we're all mourning together. Like, oh wow, this really sucks. I could only do 1 of 4 combat missions. Yeah, me too. Oh wow, this really sucks. And then you get paid in the end, so you're like, I guess it wasn't that bad. But content should be fun and conquerable, and like have a strategy to it, and be able to understand. You know, like the old raids when we were trying to do turn meter reduction on the Rancor, and it was like epic when we beat it at the top tier, you know, but there was a strategy to it. It took forever, and in retrospect, it wasn't that fun, but conquering something new is fun. Conquering something that seems unconquerable is not fun. So I would prefer less of that, where there's just, you know, debuffs on everything that don't make sense. But we'll see where they take it. Also, Rosario Dawson, that was my... Anyway, I'm done.
That's an excellent answer from Naughty Karate. And next is Tibius. Tibius has
Yeah, I
joined
would.
us.
Excellent. Yes, thank you. I would like to. Actually, I'd like to see better rewards for the challenges, or you know, for some of the stuff we do. New and exciting content, new challenges. But I agree the Geo, the light side is like brutal. Some of those are just like nigh impossible, and it's kind of demoralizing. Yeah, I think I posted a comment earlier. I'd like to see 25 or 40 stun guns as a win prize for, you know, certain challenges or tiers, just as like, a, hey, here you go, throw us a bone.
Yeah, free stun gun. Boom, good job. Thanks for spending the hour figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, they got to do something because, and I'm not going to lie, like I've been doing this for 3 years and I have some relatively powerful characters, but, you know, I've invested a shekel or two, and, you know, just some of it seems like there's the pay threshold of like, oh, you gotta drop money if you want to get to this level or you want to beat this, and it just I don't know, they should allow double farming or something like that. You know, just again, lighten up on the Galactic Legends. Not everybody's gonna get them unless they wail out like hardcore. I mean, Watt's cool and he's fun, and I'm like jazzed about that mission and shit. I invested pretty heavily in, you know, getting my broad, you know, up and everything, but you know, I like something like that, but it needs to be a really big reward. It seems like for the challenges that they have, the rewards are kind of almost meaningless. You know, you gotta beat the top tier challenge if you know, on like the new ones. And sorry, I'm not able to beat those full R7s. You know, so Sandbox would be great. I would kill for the opportunity to play against two of my friends. Like, that would just be the greatest thing out there.
And Tibius, after you talk each time, you'd pass the magic feather back around to the person next to you. In this case, that is beefed. And so if I
okay, I
the
passed
feather,
the magic feather around.
Thank you. I think what I wish was next was I want some real-time battle modes. I'd like to see some real-time use of the same characters on the same scenes. There's the same code and core engine, and like their abilities are still governed by the same parameters for damage and everything. All my mods are there, whatever, but it's just some real-time battles. And I'd like to see that on ships where I could tilt the phone side to side and fly some of these ships that I've invested in, even if it was like Zaxxon on that weird like 3/4 offset perspective that we have. I would still love to go fly some real-time missions, and that would make some of the content more enjoyable if it had to be played like that. And some shooting ones where, you know, Han Solo's there or whatever, and you're trying to shoot the stormtroopers, not the Ewoks. So it could be that kind of a challenge where you've got some missions that are like the Galactic Challenges, but are in real time. And then the evolution of that in my dream vision would be to have some real-time PvP. But, I mean, that's total pipe dream. That would be neat. But anything that's a little less turn-based would spice it up. And then I'll pass. What do I think's going to be next, besides the subtle paywall thing, is they're going to make level 90. And so it'll burn off all of these excess training droids and galactic credits, because they can see that we're all sitting on just a huge stack of those old-time players. And so they need to allow something so that we can beat the new content that they've poorly designed and made too hard. And so they're going to increase the level cap to level 90. And now I'll pass the feather to Draven.
I would love to see where quality of life thing is not just squads for characters, but you can actually squad your sips. Because we're doing 2 sips on defense, 2 sips on offense. Let us organize our sips better so we can plan ahead of time what we're going to use. And
Yeah, let me save that business. That's a good one.
exactly. So we that way we don't like I almost like you did. Oh, I used my Millennium Falcon on the wrong team. Like that stuff should not happen. You should not lose a gap because you don't have a way to save my team right now. I'll pass the feather on to the next person to ask a question.
I think it's Kadar.
Oh, well, I see we have a couple new people. I saw Absolutely Sith join, and then Hyperlight just joined as well. So, Hello, folks. It's getting
Updating.
crowded in here.
That's good.
I got something I wanted to talk about whenever the feather comes around to me. I had something really cool happen at
Dude,
work.
we're actually like redundant on the number of people that have answered this question. What would you like to see in the game? What do you think we'll be seeing in the game? So it's all yours.
Let's see. Kadar had the feather, but you could choose to pass it to the new person who entered, which is Absolutely Sith.
Absolutely Sith sounds really excited, so I'm going to pass the feather on to him. Absolutely Sith, I want you talking, friend.
Okay. All right, guys. Yeah. Okay, you can call me a nerd when I'm done, or you can call me an idiot or whatever. But I haven't played D&D since since high school, and I think I had other people help me make a character sheet. I'd never really been that. I was like a total closet nerd in the 90s. Like I did sports and everything. My work decided, since everyone's losing their collective sanity, to do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and I fucking really enjoyed doing it. It's smart, nerdy adults, not high school kids trying to rewrite Lord of the Rings, but some fucking adults who have seen some shit. And I was just thinking about how great to do more of that, and I was like, I bet you there's a couple people in Boba's that are nerdy enough, because I've seen people apply, the E rules and stuff like that to other realms, and I'm like, there's no reason why we use the Dungeons and Dragons rules in Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's a great idea.
If it's done well, and I'm by no means am I a DM or anything like that. But I'd love to role play it with you guys. Like I can just go through some ancient Sith, temple or some crap like that. Like that would be badass in my opinion.
So,
I don't know if you guys share the enthusiasm, so I'll shut up now.
Next after Absolutely Sith, the next is Hyperlight. Hyperlight, you can unmute yourself if you want to comment on the question that's been asked to the room, which was, what do you wish would be next, and what do you think will be next? Hyperlight, you got anything to say about that?
Sorry, I'll come on out in a bit. Naughty, if you want to throw out, I saw Naughty Karate and decided to join on. So,
just like the good old days.
Well,
man.
Bud, you've been bugging. We've been trying to get on voice chat for a while, bro. So
that's true. This is This is technically the round table session of the voice chat, and so I'm going to record about the next 10 minutes of our discussion, and then I'm going to stop the recording, and we can go to a totally informal thing where we're just goofing off and saying or singing or whatever.
I wanted to add on to the D&D thing Absolutely Sith was talking about, but I think that's best saved for after we're off the record.
Yeah, we're doing our live stream right now.
I know.
Hyperlight, I want to... What do you want to say?
I mean, it ties into what I've wanted to see in the game. Like, I've wanted to see RPG elements in this game where we have more of those stories. When we saw Knights of the Old Republic content, I thought we were actually going to have some missions and, some cool new stories in that universe, and I was super excited. And there's been, nothing of that complexity.
You're totally right. After Hyperlight, the feather passes to Beefed, and I would say, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what we all want, is that something we could be a little passionate about in the game, or actually be interested in, where we're not just clicking a single button to sim to farm for 100 days of farming to get one more gear level on some team that I have no emotional attachment to. What we all want is something that's a little bit more fun in the game. So your answer was right on the nose. You're right about that. The feather was with Kadar. I don't have anything else to add at this time. We've got time to go around at least one more time, and anybody who has something else you want to say can say it. I technically pass to DeRaven.
I have nothing else to add, so I'll pass the feather down.
To Kadar. You want to say something else in closing, or ask one more question?
Yeah, I'll ask a question. So obviously we know that divisions 1 and 2 sadly now have to field 2 fleets on offense and 2 fleets on defense, and at least 2 fleets on offense. In your opinions, what do you think are the best fleets to have on defense versus offense?
That's a great question, and it passes technically to JD. JD, what do you think?
So right now I've been placing my General Kenobi and my Empire fleets on defense, and I'll have Malevolence and Rebels on offense. That's just what I've been doing.
That's great. Naughty Karate?
Actually, there was a YouTuber, End All Be All, who posted a video where he made like this fancy graph based off a lot of players' data on what the best fleets are to place on defense, and obviously the 2 that are most unattainable, which is Malevolence and Negotiator, which they require get 2 currency to get. If you have those fleets built out, they're obviously the best, but when you have to put 4 fleets into battle, 2 on defense and 2 on offense, I have been saving those 2 and putting Akbar and Radis on defense, or the Finalizer. But like the best one, hands down, the best ones are the best ones, which is Negotiator and Malevolence, right? I guess that answers the question.
It sure does. Tibius, do you want to take that on?
I don't know. I don't have 4 fleets, so I'm not really sure how we're supposed to go ahead with that. I mean, I got like my fleet with my Geos and HT and Vader and Slave One and something else, and then I guess I got like my other one with the Falcon and whatever other ships I have. But I mean, I don't really have enough ships powered up that it will do anything other than just get wiped. Other than my first 2 fleets, my primary fleet again, is the Geo one, and that one does pretty well. But I would view that more as an offensive one.
Good point. Okay, absolutely, Sith. Do you want to comment on the fleet situation?
Yeah, I mean, I dropped out of GAC a while ago. Like, I basically just go in and hope that I win by RNG more often than not. But I used to put in, like, Malevolence, because I was one of the first people to unlock him. Like, I already had the Galactic Republican Kenobi ship, Nego, going in Fleet Arena. But I found a lot of people had difficulty with Malevolence on defense, and I got a lot of wins that way for a long time. But then, everyone eventually figured out how to beat it. So at this point, I think what Nadi was saying is correct. Like, you put Radis and Rebels on defense, and you just try and get the best points that you can on offense. Unfortunately, the lack of variety or interaction with ships, like it kind of leaves us in the same place we've been since like 6 months ago.
Yeah, except that you need more to go around. Okay, the feather would go to Hyperlight. Hyperlight? Oh wait, is that right? Did I skip Tibius? Tibius or Hyperlight? You got me. Okay, Hyperlight is next. Do you want to answer the question about the fleets? He's muted right now. I'm beefed, and I would say the best two. Oh, here he
No
comes.
worries. So what's the question about fleet?
Okay, now in the higher tiers, you have to place 2 fleets on defense and 2 on offense. So the question is, what are the best 2 to put on defense?
I would say that totally depends on both your tunes and the ships. Depending where you have your 6-stop mods, where you have your maxed out fleet, fastest capital ship. Do you want that on defense? That's going to be faster than the rest. There's a lot of variables, right? I personally mixed it up quite a bit just to see what would be good and what's bad. So it's the ones that aren't used a lot that people aren't used to. So that's what mixes it up a bit, I think.
Oh, I really like that answer. Yep. Okay. After Hyperlight, it goes to Beefed, and I would say, the fleet that I placed on defense that worked was Grievous with other Separatist ships that I have, which is basically the bugs, because I don't really have a Separatist fleet like that. The fleet that didn't perform well on defense that I hoped would was Akbar with the Millennium Falcon. I mean, I'm probably going to save that for attack next time, because when I call Wedge as a reinforcement and he puts the red triangle on Houndstooth or whatever, and then he gets a huge, amazing shot. I mean, he can hit for over 100,000 damage when he comes out from reinforcement. So I don't think the AI knows what it's doing with the rebels, and therefore I'm going to start saving them for attack more. But Grievous did okay on defense, and so I don't know what my other defensive fleet will be. On attack, I used the bounty hunters all at once, and they were pretty good, actually. Now that I had them up there already pretty high to unlock the Millennium Falcon. So I got so much ship resources. I've taken all my ships to the maximum power now, just because I've been playing the game for a long time. So I got everything totally maxed. Yes.
What's your gear level on your Vistan and your Pathfinder?
Not that good yet. They're purple.
If you don't,
how do you mean they are at least R5 or R7 by now?
No, if you don't have them at least gear 12, don't put them on defense. It's
I
much better
I was gonna say two other people spoke after me, and I realized that I was an idiot because I didn't clarify where I am. I've been playing since about a month after launch, so when I'm talking about GAC, I'm talking about people in the 7 million plus range GP, and they'll clear anything you have. The idea of having a toughness at that GP, it's impossible. So it's more about offensively getting the most points that you can get. If you can craft a really clever defense, cool. But otherwise, it's just about getting as many points as you can on offense, more than the other person.
Yeah, one loss means you might lose the match at that level.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised that Grievous and the Geonosians were undefeated, and the guy tried a couple of different fleets against him. But I guess, he wasn't used to seeing that combination or whatever, so I got lucky with that. Okay, we're going to record just a couple more minutes, so it's just an open mic, free-for-all, if anybody else wants to say something before I turn off the recording.
You know what? I do want to say something, and this kind of thing, what you were mentioning earlier, I think a couple people is give us something to be passionate about. And I can say that in the first couple years of this game, particularly in year 2 and 3, I would say, the community passion for any new news that came out about it was really kind of unprecedented and really cool to be a part of. But large groups of voice chat activity happened as a result of this, So that's kind of what we're asking for right now. Let's give us something to be passionate for. If not for the whole community we're a part of that brings us together, which is, I guess, the thing that would be number one on the list. But in general, I would like games staying to that, that passion more rather than smoosh it.
That's right. That was Naughty Karate. Each person could say your name, say goodnight. This has been the Roundtable Chat, and signing off is Beef Martine. I just want to say thanks, everybody, for coming. Obviously, you're the meat and bones of this discussion. I just found the magic feather and started passing it around the table. So thanks, everybody, for putting in your words and making this count. And next to say goodnight, I will pass the feather to DeRaven.
Well, everybody, have a good night, and may the force be with you. And pass the feather on.
To Kadar.
All right, everybody. This time next week, Galactic Legends will be out. Good luck to all of you. I hope some people get them right away, and I hope nobody rages about it. But at least these events look to be better than last generation. May the force be with you all. Kadar's out.
Okay, the feather will pass next to JD. JD, say goodnight.
Hey, good night, all. Have a good night and get the force be with you.
All right, how about Naughty Karate?
I would say goodnight, but I will be in your ear and in your mind for the next couple of days, hopefully.
Very good. And Tibius?
To one and to all, a good night. Everyone have a good one. Let's hopefully we can make a difference in this, and they'll take some of our words to heed. But keep playing and keep relicking, and let's just keep building the guild and help each other out. You know, understanding is the key to this game. I'll tell you that. It's a grind. Okay, I'm out.
Okay.
Pass the feather to absolutely.
Howdy ho!
How about Hyperlight? Do you want to say goodnight before I stop recording? Okay.
I was gonna wait for Naughty to say something, but yeah, good night. But I'm staying.
What?
I'm
That's it?
staying on.
That's all we get. That's
Yeah.
all we get is good night from you.
No, I got more to say. I just want it off record. That's all.
Okay. Well, stay tuned, folks. I'm gonna push the button. We'll stop recording in 3, 2,